Hangout is on air live.
Hey, we're hanging out.
Yeah. This is basically this is the second time we've talked live, hasn't it?
I think this is the second time we've talked live. You are correct, sir.
Okay, well, John, nice to meet you. I'm Ron Pare.
Likewise, and I'm John Abaticola.
What were we going to talk about today? Video games, right?
Yeah, we're doing something about video games because, as it turns out, we're both didn't know it, but we're both somewhat avid gamers, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how avid I am. I'm as avid as my time allows for, I suppose.
It's kind of a stress relief activity for me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and it's nice because the games are so good these days that it really can give you sort of that escape from reality that a lot of people are looking for. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think that's probably what I use it for.
Yeah, so both of us are video editors, basically.
And my phone is ringing.
I should have.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, thank you. I should have turned the ringer off. Hang on a second. It's probably some bullshit telemarketer anyway. Hold on. Hello. Hi. You might want to put this on the air. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Could you repeat? Hold on. I can't hear you. I need to put my speakerphone on. I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?
Yes, sir. I'm Jeff here with AP Energy. Just a quick notification because your home came out to possibly qualify for the new California's energy programs.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Possibly even reduce this bill, sir. Are you like spending $70 per electricity? Spending more than that?
Oh, yeah. We spend more like $350 a month on our energy.
Are you receiving any help, sir, or any discount programs to reduce that bill?
Yeah, we're on welfare.
So, again, sir, I would assume that you own this property that we're calling you guys now?
I own about 16 properties.
Okay, the one that we have on file here is...
Oh, yeah, that one is one of our rentals, yes.
Okay, rental property. Okay, and then the one that we have on file here also is...
Too much.
Yeah, we actually have about 16 properties that are rentals and about another 13 that are commercial properties. And it's really cool because we're on welfare and the government's paying for it, all of it. They even gave us solar panels.
Your added help will be wonderful.
Sorry, I had to do it. I mess with telemarketers all the time if they call.
You know what? This is what creative people do. When an opportunity rises, boom!
It's a good thing we were on the air today because I would have probably taken that phone into the bathroom and made some real music for him.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. So getting back to what we were talking, it was video games.
Can anybody watching tell this is completely unscripted?
Yeah, totally.
I like unscripted stuff too. That's creative too, right, Ron?
Totally. I actually have a problem with talking to people about a project or an interview before the interview happens.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll get to a point where I think I've asked the question and I won't ask the question because I thought I already asked it. But if I, totally not talk about anything about the subject at hand and talk about everything else, I'm great.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
because I know
what the conversation.
Yeah,
go with the conversation. That's not a bad approach.
And these video games, that it's really nice to play those because as a video editor, when I get to a project, I want to have a clean mind. I want to get inspired by the music or what's happening in the video, and just go at it in a raw, like unhindered set. Just a run. Just get it done and edit it and render it. And video games allows me to take a break in between videos, and I'll forget whatever's happened in the last video. So the next video is totally fresh.
It's good to have a clean slate that way, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, the script is all new. I'm not pulling something from the last video. I'm not even thinking about the last video. So it's a really good thing for me.
Sure, definitely. And sometimes it's just good to use it to recharge your although I was going to say to recharge your batteries, but I've got to say, though, sometimes, and I think this is probably just me. Well, actually, I'm sure other people do this too. But what I mean is it's an idiosyncrasy of mine that I have kind of an obsessive personality. You know, I joke. I do other stuff too. Actually, let me go backtrack here for just a second, just so people know what I'm talking about. And it might be an interesting thing too. We met online because of what the other things that we do. It had nothing to do with games.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that I don't even know how I found it, Ron, to be honest, but I saw that you put out a video about a game that I've been playing, Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, oh, look, another gamer who does railroad stuff. Because, okay, so people probably know who you are because they're watching your channel. So they know that you do all that railroad stuff. And I also do railroad stuff. I'm part of a group called TSG Multimedia, and it's actually a video production company. It's not a train company.
Yeah.
I started it in 1998, and about, I don't know, 10 or 11 years ago, my friend Dan came over to a party that we were having here. We would have a party about, I don't know, a couple times a year, and one of the parties is in the fall because we have a lot of birthdays around that time. Mm-hmm. And he was sharing some really horrible train DVDs, you know, prototype trains, real trains driving around, right?
Yeah.
And these videos were really bad.
Yeah. It was all sky, little train.
It was so bad. And the camera's on the ground, you know, up with this monstrosity. Yes, all of it. Or even worse, guys holding it. Oh, there goes one. You're why is this even being aired someplace?
You can see the cigarette smoke from his finger.
Or his wife's in the car. Get back in here, Jim. But anyway, they were so bad. And Dan, so we're standing there in my kitchen holding our drinks or whatever, and he says, we could do a better one. And that's all it took. So we started doing train videos. And so we also do train videos on YouTube on TSG Multimedia, the YouTube channel. And I have a new channel, it's been around for about a year now that I started, and I put up some gaming videos, a lot like what you put up. So that's what I mean. I was like, oh, look, somebody else does this too. So I thought it was kind of cool. And I said something to you about it, I think in an email or something last week or a couple of weeks ago. And so we decided that we would have a little chat about games because frankly, you probably know more about trains than I do. And we both know about games. So it's something we could probably chat about, you know, and I won't sound like a complete idiot trying to talk about trains, which is not, you know, my thing with trains is I probably know more than your average layperson on the street because I've been doing the videos with Dan. But when it comes down to it, Dan is really the expert on this team. So it's better if we talk about games because I actually know about that. And I'm not like, I was going to say afraid, but that's not the right word for it. But, you know, I'm not afraid to say what I know about games. It's all good.
I'll confess to you, I don't know much about railroads. I'm an artist and a modeler.
Yep, and you know about models, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was using the wrong word for that. Yeah.
Well, you know, I feel embarrassed. You know, I'm a contributor to the community, and I'm pretty proud of it. You know, I'm no expert. I share my job in modeling is to share my mistakes because nobody else will do it sufficiently in my mind. You know, like I will humbly walk out there and say, I spent $50 on this product. I used 3/4 of it. I had to rip it all out. And then I had to finish with the last quarter of the product. I'm that guy, you know, so learn from my mistakes, you know? So
yeah. And that's actually very good because if people are willing to, they could save them a lot of time and money.
Well, yeah. And the thing is you really don't learn something until you lose a little bit of money.
You know, that's not a bad thought. true, because if it doesn't cost you any, well, there are other costs though. I mean, it could cost you a lot of time, whatever you're doing. So there's a lot of ways to look at that.
As someone who's been receiving product in kind for the last 6 years in model railroading, there's always something you have to purchase along with it. There's never a free run. There's always paint. You get some decal machine, you got to buy a laser printer.
Right.
It's on and on and on and on. It's always $100 here, $50 there, and you never get any money out of it.
That's the funny thing about models, isn't it?
Yeah, you just learn something new. So
you get a lot of enjoyment though, right?
Oh yeah. So well,
that part matters.
Yeah. The video games allows me to get away from modeling though and re-inspire myself.
Yeah. Especially if that's kind of what you're doing as your occupation.
Well, I'm trying to get out of it because I'm not trying to get out of modeling. I'm trying to get out of model railroading because of politics and the divide that are like, I'm Canadian.
You don't say.
And
I heard it in the accent, but I knew though.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. A.
The gratuitous A, yes.
That's our joke down here. Right?
Yeah. But going online and being on Facebook concerning model railroading, you're dealing with a lot of crap right now, and it's going to go on for the next 2 years or a year and a half. I don't know how long your political season happens. Like ours happened last year. It was like 3 months, done. We don't hear anything about it. We're going to legalize pot. That's the only thing that they say, but
some people are probably very happy about that.
Some of them. I'm not me, but in the States it goes on for two or 3 years.
Yeah. In the States it's like everything. It's a big money generator for some people. So they're going to draw it out as much as possible.
That affects my hobby.
Yeah. It's too bad too, because not only do they draw it out and someone's making a bunch of money somewhere, but a lot of people who probably shouldn't have a voice get their voice amplified because they're outrageous and they're going to have, attention. So whatever.
I was blocked by 2 people who were longtime friends.
Yeah.
This weekend because I posted a video of a Muslim woman getting kicked out of a Trump rally.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
It's nasty.
Yeah. Our politics are very polarized, and it's too bad. I think it has something to do with the way we respond to sensationalism here. And I don't understand why people can't just think and see what things are and decide in a logical way instead of being sensationalized all the time.
Mm-hmm. And the point of me bringing that up is why we play video games, is to get out of this
get
world,
away from that.
Yeah, this bad attitude.
That crap too. Yeah.
Yeah, bad news bears, and go play some Fallout 4. So that's
right. Shoot those raiders and death claws and mutants and
So I play Fallout 4 on the PC, and you play it on the Xbox, right?
Yeah, I got an Xbox One a couple of years ago. Well, I mean, I got an Xbox One more recently, but I got an Xbox a couple of years ago after vowing that I would never get one. But I, unfortunately, I'm a big hockey fan, and they used to make hockey games for PC, but they stopped doing it probably 10, 12 years ago. And all my sports games that I used to play, I couldn't play anymore because they just didn't make them anymore. They made them for consoles though. But I just wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't do it. And then I worked with a guy about 5 years ago, or maybe a little bit more than that, who had an Xbox at work. And he showed me the hockey, and it looked and played so much better than anything I'd ever seen before. I'm like, I'm still not getting one. Right. And then he called me one day and he says, they have Xboxes at some website for $99. And I was making enough money to afford it at the time. And I was like, $99, that's all. And next thing you know, I got the damn thing. And
it went into the impulse purchase range.
I shouldn't have done it. But I did it. And, now I had to get an Xbox One, and it was because of Fallout 4. I'll admit it. It was I've played all the Fallout games, starting with the very first one back in I think it was the 90s when it came out on PC. Or actually, I might have even played the original Fallout on Apple. I don't remember, because I had an Apple II for a long time. And man, it's, you remember saying I'm kind of obsessive about things. That's kind of what it is, Mm-hmm. And when I said I was obsessive, I kind of backtracked and got off track. I do that sometimes, go off on tangents.
It's okay. Me too.
What I was going to say is that we do it to escape reality and to recharge the battery, but sometimes it has the opposite effect because of the obsession that I have. I'm just going to do one more thing.
Half hour, 12 hours later.
Yeah, I have to do that one more thing. These people in the settlement really need our help, so I'm just gonna go help them, and then I'll sell all my stuff, and I'll be ready to go next time. And then along the way.
Saturday.
Along the way, I run into someone else who needs my help, and I'm such a helpful guy. Next thing you know, it's the next morning, and you're just like, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be sleeping right now, or I should have slept 6 hours ago. And actually, I don't usually pull all-nighters. It's very rare for that to happen, but it has happened, and
Saturday, I started playing Fallout, and the wife walked in. She said, "Here, I picked you up something." And, by the time I got up, I felt, I deemed myself unfit for duty.
Yeah. So
time to save and go to bed.
So I've played through the game now once and a half.
Well, you played through the full game?
I have played through the full game.
I've been very patient.
I'm not going to spoil, because I know you're working on a project, and I don't want to tell you. Well, I don't know. I feel like I should tell you, because I don't want you to. No, don't tell you. I won't tell you then.
Because I've watched all the endings, and I think I know what you're gonna say, but it's so interesting the way I'm gonna finish it.
Okay.
I know what missions to stop at, to move on to the next faction, and keep everybody like it's all. The thing is there's only one mission that gets the Brotherhood of Steel to fight the railroad guys, and a mission for them to fight. It's just one mission. So if you avoid the one mission at the proper time and then go through it, there's actual other endings to the game, where the Brotherhood of Steel will say, you working with the railroad guys was ingenious, and that's like a hidden ending,
So you can.
And I've always been the good guy. I can't be a bad guy in video games.
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Never. I can't do it. I can't, like, if I'm playing Star Wars, I'm always a rebel. Just that. But the one thing I wanted to bring up before we got off of the Xbox versus PC, the Xbox is really the cheapest way to buy into these high-end video games, because I had to upgrade my video card to even play Fallout 4. And, that was like $130 for the video card. You paid $99 for your Xbox all in.
Well, yeah, that was a 360 a number of years ago.
Oh,
the Xbox One was, $200 or $300.
Oh, I see.
But in order for me to upgrade,
but actually, that's fairly cheap.
Yeah. Oh no, I waited until I thought I had a good deal on it. So, but there's always a better deal. Like, I was walking through Costco fairly recently and saw it for less, and I was like, oh, I should have waited. But you should have waited every time. And if you wait until you find that deal, you'll never get it. Or the next thing, Xbox 2 will be out.
Yeah, I bought a TV at the beginning of December with the maker money, and I should have waited.
Right? See what I'm saying? So yeah, I would have done it on the PC, except for a couple of things. One, they don't have the sports games that they have on these consoles. I don't think anybody even makes them.
Well, I think it's possible because you can use console controllers now on PCs so that they could serve that community again. But I think it's because of the console controller that they're just so popular on those consoles.
It could be, but like I'm saying, that I don't even think you can get an NFL game on the PC. As a matter of fact, I know you can't. I don't think you can get NHL on a PC, but they have it for every console. So it wasn't just the RPGs that I like playing. The reason why I got the console, it was because of the sports games mostly. And the other thing was if I wanted to upgrade my PC, because I do have one, it's sitting right here next to me. I would have to get a new one and upgrade the video card, and so it's just very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Now that being said, I think I would really enjoy games like Fallout 4 on the PC because you have all these mods you can get for
Oh
it.
my goodness!
And the mods, and you can go into the mode
Big
where you're
boobs, realistic blood, everything.
Yeah, everything. So, and I think that whole modding thing is really cool because you can take a game that's already really good and it's 10 times better with the right mods, and I get that.
Well, there's full immersion. Well, not full immersion mods, but the rewrites of the mods where they put in a totally different storyline. So you played the game twice, and then you do a totally different storyline,
Right. That's one of the really cool things about this kind of game too, is that even without mods, you could replay it 10 times and have a different game every now. You'll go to the same places and you'll kill the same raiders and get the same guns and all that kind of stuff. But the results, like you were saying, you have different factions and everything. You could side with any of them, and you can have a different experience because if you side with the Brotherhood, for example, you'll get some different quests than if you're siding with the Railroad or with the Institute or the Minutemen, whatever, So on my first playthrough, I sort of accidentally sided with the Minutemen the whole way. I did.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't. On my second playthrough, I am purposely not siding with the Minutemen because that Preston Garvey character kind of irritates me a little bit. And I don't know why. I think because he's constantly telling me another settlement needs our help. And those settlement quests never end. It's like, leave me alone for 5 minutes. I'm trying to save my son, And all you
my nemesis is that Brotherhood guy in the police station.
Dance! I can't stand that guy.
No, not Dance. The other guy. The guy keeps on insulting me.
The push-up guy. He's always doing push-ups and telling me what to
shoot him in the head, but I can't because I can't shoot. I can't play GTA 5. I can't shoot cops.
Oh, right. That's too bad because GTA.
What's wrong with my head?
It's a really fun game. That was another one that I got last year. I think it was early last year. It was well after it came out. But I don't know what happened. I think I stumbled across some GTA 5 videos on YouTube or something.
Oh, it's terrible.
And I'm watching this going, oh, this seems kind of like an open world game.
Yeah.
I remember when GTA came out a long, long time ago, and I played it on a console. It looked crappy. It didn't play very well.
Yeah.
And it was kind of dumb. All you could do is go around.
I remember them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the 2D version.
Yeah. So I wasn't really excited about the idea because I wasn't impressed with any of the other GTA games that I had seen previously. But when I saw this on YouTube and saw how good it looked and the sort of the depth of the graphics and all that.
You live in California, so it'd be like, oh my God, that looks like my yard.
And it kind of does look like that LA area, which I think is what they were trying to go after.
Yeah, totally.
But the funny thing about that is, and it was still available on 360. I didn't have my Xbox One yet, so I got it for 360. And boy, did I have fun playing that. That was a really fun game. And I'm like you. I don't really like to. I don't really like the whole idea of shooting people in games.
Yeah, I'm not really all into that. But
I don't think it affects me. Like, I don't want to go out and start shooting people. And I don't think it affects most people that way, despite what some people would want you to think. I've actually done the research, and the studies don't bear out that it affects people. What affects people in real ways is experiencing and witnessing real violence. Games and music, don't do a whole lot. At least that's what the scientific studies say.
Well, I've noticed, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine last week, and people who play video games in this ultra-violence fashion, when they get out into the real life, they're terrified. They're terrified by real life. I don't think that these people go out with guns and relive their video gaming, because I think that their video gaming kind of scares the crap out of them.
And in some cases, that's probably true.
You know, I've got a couple of nephews who will not go outside because they're just terrified of it. You know, but you know, they're playing games like crazy on the inside. I don't know if that's true or not. And then the other thing is that about these sports games, maybe they're not going onto PC because of pirating.
Could be, don't know. Could be. I mean, although they can use that Steam thing to I'm sure there's ways around that, but to use for security, you know, anti-piracy.
I read an article that pirating could be dead within 3 years.
Oh, because of all the security measures?
Yeah, the latest game that came out, I think it was Metal Gear maybe. It still hasn't been cracked yet, and it's been out for like 6 months. And I remember GTA 2 took a real long time before it was cracked for people to steal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I bought the game. I never had a video card able to run it until I got Fallout 4. So,
yeah,
my life.
Well, I mean, shoot, like I was saying before, I can't run Fallout. I'm sure I couldn't run Fallout 4 on my PC. I use Macs for all my video editing and everything else that I do. So, and they don't really make a lot of games for Mac. No. So I'm just not on the PC level for gaming, you know, anymore. I used to be. I was diehard. It was PC all the way, and I used to upgrade my machine all the time. And it was so stupid because your gaming is what initiates the upgrade of your computer, and sometimes it's a very expensive upgrade.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah. So
I suggest that you. Well, actually, I think your controller would already work on a PC. I've got an Xbox controller.
Yeah, it might, because it is a USB connection. I'm sure you just need a driver for it in the PC.
Yeah.
So, but I have my consoles now, so I don't have any interest or need to
plug
anything into the PC like that.
If you do move to PC, I highly suggest you use this, because these games, they come with these keypads that are just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm left-handed.
Oh, right. That's the difference between a game that's made for PC or a game that's made for a console and ported to PC is the controls. Yeah, is the controls. Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about Witcher too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I played through that one. I started it over, but it wasn't different enough, you know, to really interest me to play it all the way through on the second time around.
You played Witcher 3?
I did. I played it all the way through.
So the storyline's a choose your own adventure, but it's actually really canned then.
It's a choose your own adventure, but you're going to end up at the same ending.
Yeah.
Or something very similar. I mean, there are some slight variations, like you might show more interest in one of the female characters than the other, so you end up with them at the end.
Yeah.
But it's essentially, in the end, you save the world. You know, you might make one of the characters NPCs mad, and so there are factions. Yeah. You know, come to think of it, I guess it really is. Fallout 4 is kind of the same way although it sounds like you've figured a way to do something that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
I found it on YouTube.
Yeah. In the end, you're either essentially for Fallout 4, you're either blowing up the Institute or joining it, because that's kind of the only two options you have. The Institute is the main antagonist in that game. Everybody else is you're just trying to.
Well, your son.
Well, right. Yeah. Right. Father.
Yeah. Well, you're still blowing up the Institute in my ending. Yeah,
in my ending, or in one of the endings that I didn't blow it up. I actually joined the Institute. Yeah. What I did was, there was one point where sorry, I don't know if you could hear that. Somebody was pinging me on my computer.
No, I couldn't.
There was one point where, that's why I looked distracted. There was one point where you're going to either side with the Institute or the Brotherhood. And it has to do with some kind of a energy source. I don't remember what they called it. I think it was arc energy. No, arc energy is a different one. That's one of the earlier ones. But it's an energy source. It's to restart or to upgrade the Institute's reactor. Because that's one of the problems the Institute is having is that their reactor's old and all their infrastructure is old. So if we can just get the reactor up, then we can be solvent here for the next 150 years or some. I don't remember the exact numbers. I'm just kind of giving you the storyline. So if you go back to the Brotherhood and say, oh, hey, you're snitching on the Institute. You're like, hey, these guys are trying to get this reactor, so let's go get it before they do. And then there's a big fight against the Institute in this place. Or if you go with the Institute and teleport there, then next thing you know, the Brotherhood is there and you have a big fight with them where you're on the Institute side. So I saved it right before you make that decision because it comes up with right. It comes up with
that's when you can do that.
Yeah, so it comes up with a little box that says, if you do this, you'll be permanent enemies with, and then it gives you the options of which ones.
Yeah.
So I saved it. I said don't do it. I said let's wait, and then I saved the game. I played through it the way I originally had intended to, which was to side with the against the Institute, and it kind of sucks because you kill your son. I mean, he dies anyway because he has cancer or something like that. But if you side against the Institute, you have to live with killing your son. Kind of sucks,
I haven't gone through that section at all. I'm still in the police station.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't.
Oh, it's all good. I don't care about spoilers. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean it's all out on YouTube anyway, so you probably saw what I just said.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I've stayed away from the story details. I just tried to find out the best way to finish the game, so I didn't have to. Like I'll make a mistake somewhere, and that's what happens to me. So if I find out where I need to go, I'll do it. That's it.
What I've wanted to do for a long time. And it's really started, I think, with The Witcher, because it was actually The Witcher, I think, that made me want to start writing game reviews for YouTube. And so I did. I have actually a game review for The Witcher. I have a game review for Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And I have a full game review for Fallout 4 as well. And it was because I had so much fun playing them. And I'm like, well, I want to give people my opinion on this too. I guess I should mention it. We haven't really talked about this. I don't know which channel you use. Or do you just use your regular modeling channel for your games too? Or are you on a separate channel for that?
No, I'm using my main channel for games and modeling videos. And then I have a modeling only channel.
Okay. Well, the way my YouTube set up is I have TSG Multimedia, which is the main channel. That's where all of our train and railroad and model railroad content goes up. And then I also have the other channel that I started that you can get to by going to TSG Multimedia. It's TSG Multimedia Miscellaneous. And I made a logo for it that's TSG WTF. Because one of the features that I have on... Yeah, right. One of the features I have on there is about bad drivers that make you say, what the?
Yeah.
So that was one of the earlier features because I have a dash cam in the camera. I'm recording. I feel like I'm recording my life. When I'm driving, it's recording. When I'm out someplace, I have my cameras. When I'm here, this is recorded now.
You never know when an asteroid's going to explode in the sky. You just never know.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I mean, people are worried about the government spying on them. It's like, I don't worry about that. My life's on display already, pretty much. Yeah. It's on display. I don't, whatever. If you want to see what I'm doing, just turn on YouTube. Jeez.
Well, okay. So Witcher 3 is game of the year for 2015 and is visually stunning.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was one of the very first things I said on my review is how good it looks.
However, I have not been so excited or enthralled by a video game since fighting a dragon in Skyrim.
Sure. Yeah, Skyrim is one of those real sort of benchmarks. I mean, Bethesda
blew me away.
Yeah, Skyrim, and it's funny too because one of my daughters still plays she still plays Oblivion, which is the predecessor to Skyrim, right? And it's funny because I'll walk into the room and she's playing Skyrim, and I'm looking at this, and this is on the Xbox 360.
Yeah,
and it's like this looks as good as Fallout 4 almost.
Yeah,
almost. I mean, the distances that you see things is not quite there compared to Fallout. And the textures of them close up is not quite as good.
But in my opinion, games haven't changed much since Half-Life 2.
They probably haven't. Although I can tell that the graphics on the next generation consoles definitely are better. There's some their textures
a little
are
deeper, but
yeah,
they're just as realistic, kind of.
Yeah, and like I was telling you before, I played Grand Theft Auto on Xbox 360. It looks amazing. I mean, one of the comments one of the comments I made when I was playing that, I didn't do a review on that because I didn't have my game capture card yet.
Yeah.
And if I did it now, it'd be a complete waste of time because there's probably a million reviews already. But one of my comments, I think I told my wife when I was checking it out, it's like, this game looks like I've never seen anything this good before.
Yeah.
And it really does. I mean, the sunsets and a lot of the weather effects are very good, even on the 360.
It's got a slight cartoonish look to it in places, but it's super realistic, kind of like a DC comic movie.
Yeah, or something. Kind of, yeah. I never thought of it that way, but you're right. It's kind of harsh lighting, sort of, generally, yeah.
It's remarkable, though. Like, I don't know. I took it, like, I played Half-Life 2 back in, I think it was 2002, and Black Hawk Down, I think. And those two games I played for a little bit in the early 2000s, but I stopped playing games for at least 12 years, 13 years. Yeah. And coming back to video games now, I played, little Android games and simple little stupid games like that. But, coming back to video games now, it's so immersive that there is no faking. Like my mind is not going, oh, that's not a real wall. I'm ready to try to find a way to blow it apart, And before it'd be like, oh, that's a immovable wall. You're never going to make your way through it.
Right. It's interesting you bring that up because that's one of the things that I think would really improve Fallout is having destructible environments, because you can throw a mini nuke out of one of those Fat Boy things. I'm trying to think of the name of the place. There's some railroad yard where a bunch of ghouls are. Bedford Station. That's what they call it. I think it's Bedford, isn't it? On the map, it's a little railroad sign, little icon.
It's supposed to find the spike gun. I couldn't find it.
Oh, I found it. I'm actually going to be uploading a video today of where to find that.
In that car, right?
It's in a car, yeah.
I couldn't find it. It was gone. Or actually, maybe I got it early in the game. But
maybe you got it and didn't realize that it's what it was.
That's probably what it was.
But I'll be uploading because today's Monday, one of the days that I upload stuff to YouTube. So I will be doing that a little bit later. But I'm going to show where to get the rail spike gun. I'm going to show where to get another legendary gun called the Gainer. It's a 44 Magnum pistol that I found really quite by accident, but you can tell it was set up to be in this certain place to where you'd be like, oh, I should go look over there. But what I was going to say is that
go ahead. Well, it's a great, that since you played through the game, these are the perfect videos for you to make as to where to find these things because you already know it. Like I'm doing like a let's play. I'm not jumping ahead at all. So every bit of game that I'm playing is getting recorded and thrown up on YouTube. But I think it's a really good idea that you're doing these tutorial things because that's what people are searching in YouTube.
Well, I don't know though. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who put up the let's play types like what you're talking about get a lot of views. So I think a lot of people, and I don't know, because I thought about this. I'm like, why would somebody want to watch somebody else play the game? And all I could figure is it's because they don't have it. Like me before I had my console, I couldn't play it because it wouldn't play on my PC. So why wouldn't I watch it on YouTube and just see what it is? And you could probably enjoy that, you know? You don't get the enjoyment of the play and the interaction, but you still get to see all the great graphics and everything.
One thing I've watched consistently over the years, since 2010, my son plays Minecraft like crazy.
Right.
And there's a group of Minecrafters who are like Minecraft. They do the ultra hardcore series where you can't gain hearts from eating. It's really hard, and it's a 20-man fight to the finish, and the last guy wins, right? And it's an actual like kind of game show where all 20 participants have their own YouTube channel, so you can see it from their point of view. So if one guy's starting to do good, you move over to his channel and you start watching it from his point of view to see how he fought people and stuff, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like a game show, you know? So I'm following along every year they do this, and I'm watching every episode, and I'm going through multiple people's channels to watch it from different views to see how this dummy walked past this guy. And, you know, it's like, where the hell did he go? What was he thinking? He was right behind him. You know, so it's really interesting to watch that stuff. It's the new entertainment.
Yeah. And like I said, you don't have to buy a game necessarily to enjoy it if you know where to watch someone else playing it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I wanted to backtrack for a second because I was talking about the railroad yard.
Sure.
What I was going to say about that is, and I don't know if Bethesda watches stuff like this. I would imagine they probably do, or they're aware of probably bigger channels, you know. But I think it would add so much to a game like that to have two things: destructible environments, because like what I was saying is you could drop a nuke on the rail yard and all those rail cars are still there intact.
Yeah.
They should be blown to smithereens. Like they should not even exist anymore. Even with just a missile launcher.
Yeah.
You should be able to get rid of them, you know, but I understand they do it because there are places you're not supposed to be able to get to.
Number one. And number two, that brings up lots of questions. Like, do those cars permanently get removed from the game?
Right. And that's what I was going to say. My inclination is yes, they should be permanently removed from the game. And I would also like to see them not have respawning bad guy camps. It's stupid. Why should you have to fight the same super mutants every time you go to this one building? And it's the same ones. You know, I mean, they do make some adjustments for whatever level you are, but it's always super mutants, and they're always in the same spots. You know, I don't know. That's the only sort of complaint I have about that game is that it's too respawning. It should be. Well, actually, you know what? There's another complaint I have about the game, and that is there's too many people and too many things in it, in that small amount of space that you have. Not that it's a small world, because it's actually a very big game world, but it's very populated. If you think about post-apocalyptic, there should be hardly anybody there. And my goodness, I mean, after playing through the thing just once, I have like 20 or 30 sets of power armor sitting around. The original Fallout's power armor was something that you fought and clawed and scratched, and if you were lucky, you could get a really crappy set that would be 100 times better than the leather armor that you have to, or whatever pieces of stuff that you found. So I don't know, maybe they did it so that it's easier for people that aren't sort of hardcore gamers, you know, to find the good stuff. I don't know. I mean, I found that you find the power armor right away when you go up on the roof in the when you're saving the Minuteman. Yeah. I thought, I mean, they kind of balanced it by making the fusion cores a little bit harder to find in the beginning. But
well, and the getting pop caps is really hard. Like there's ways to farm the game, but
there are ways to farm the game, and caps have. Okay, here's a little.
But when you farm the game, you've got to be ready for the fact that you're taking out a portion of the interesting value of the game. You're taking the balance out of the game on purpose.
When I talk about farming in the game, I'm not talking about doing a hack or something where you're doing it like a cheap way. But let me tell you what I did, especially in my second playthrough, because I've realized how much this could make. They introduced the settlements. That's a brand new thing. They've never had anything like that in any Fallout game before.
Yep.
And I found pretty early on that if you have a lot of water pumps in your settlements, you can sell that water at shops. And so this is actually kind of a cool thing. My second playthrough, I went to there's a base you can get called Spectacle Island, and this place is just massive. You don't even have to do Spectacle Island to do what I'm about to say. You can even do it in Sanctuary Hills, and you get Sanctuary Hills as a settlement right off the bat. You can walk out of your vault, go straight into Sanctuary Hills, and after you talk to the robot Codsworth, roaming around, click the workbench,
start making loot.
You can, right? And all you got to do is build a whole bunch, as many as you can, of water pumps. These guys. You're gonna.
Is that cheating? Is that cheating?
Because that's not cheating. That's in the game.
In the world of Fallout, the person who's smart enough to build all these purifiers is the one who's going to make the cash.
Yeah, and that is absolutely not a cheat. That's just it's kind of a trick in a way, because it
should come with a perk of the prudent businessman or something like that.
Maybe
the achievement. Yeah,
maybe, I don't know. But all I know is that I built water like that on my second playthrough. I have not had a single problem with money. If I ever need money, I just go back, get the water, visit various people in the towns, sell the water, and I've got enough to buy anything I need.
There's the other thing, that each of these merchants have a limited amount of cash, so you have to sell them your junk, or no, you got to buy the things you need off of them first, and then you sell them your junk so that you can get all that money back.
That's the way to do it.
You got to sell them you got to give them all your money, and then you got to take all that money back.
that they refresh, though, every day. They have a new set of 300 caps or whatever it is. Or
really?
So if you've sold all your junk and the guy's broke now in Diamond City.
Yeah. I haven't been there yet.
Go somewhere else and then go back there in a day or two, and he'll have 300 caps again.
Cool.
So, and that again is one of those things that I think makes it pretty unrealistic. Now, I know it's a game. I know there's fictional.
A lot of people in the world. You said
there are too many. It's too much. It is so populated. To me, it doesn't. The original Fallout games had a very sort of realistic feel of post-apocalyptic. I mean, it was hard to survive. There were not a lot of people, and water was pretty hard to find. As a matter of fact, the first Fallout, you're trying to find something called a water chip to save your vault, because your water chip doesn't work anymore. And then you go out, in the process, you save your vault, but you also save the world from a bad guy.
You know what? With the games that we used to play were all canned content, though. Like, every person you seen had a part in the story because our computers couldn't run it. But now we're in a situation where you can actually set up ambient life, stuff that you don't even talk to. Like, I don't talk to everybody in Fallout 4. I'd never get anything done.
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely a richer and deeper world experience. There's no question
part of
about
the immersion in my mind.
Yeah, but it seems to me like maybe they could have made the area that the world covers bigger by having less of that kind of content in it, because frankly, I think that a post-apocalyptic world would not have people at every turn. Now the only good thing about it is that the people at every turn that you find are trying to shoot you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a struggle for survivability or whatever, but only to a certain point, because once you get to be pretty powerful, like say after level 40 or 50, it's not that hard. I mean, even I haven't played on the hardcore level, because I find those to be usually just very frustrating. But I play on the medium level, and after a while, you're just 3 shots, or maybe 5 shots.
Yeah, you got that super gun. That's just a.
I got a good gun. I got a good one. I think I found what is probably the best ballistic gun in the game, and it's a sniper rifle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think the best laser gun, a highly modified sniper rifle. They have certain perks that the guns sometimes have. The legendary guns, there's a particular one, like it might set people on fire, or it might cause radiation damage in addition to regular damage or whatever. But there's another sort of category of legendary where it shoots an additional projectile. So it does more damage than a regular sniper rifle might do 70 damage. The one that shoots an additional projectile does like 102 or something like that.
Awesome.
So yeah,
my favorite is the assault shotgun. That's just it's a slasher. It cuts them in half.
it does, yeah. Although it doesn't have very good range, so I'm kind of a sniper fan, because I'd rather stay as far away from someone as possible. So that before they know it, it's too late.
No, yeah. I'm that crazy guy.
See, that's the other cool thing. You can have different approaches,
Yeah. I'm the run up the ditch and hide behind a tree and come out just a screaming and a yelling, the beard flying. Yeah.
with the baseball bat or a super sledge, right?
You're looking at the locks. I'm shooting ya.
You want him to see you before his head is smashed in, right?
Yeah. No, I
it does offer a lot of different, approaches for gameplay. I'm not complaining just to complain. The things that I'm saying that are complaints are really the only things that I have a problem with. And even with the problems I have, I enjoy it immensely,
Well, that's the thing, if we didn't complain, the next games wouldn't have these things.
Yeah, probably. Although I can't imagine anybody complained with Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas that there weren't settlements. I've been trying to figure out why they brought that settlement aspect into it.
So I'm going to ask a controversial question, because I bought the catalog off of Steam because it was cheap over a holiday season, and I played Fallout 3 and New Vegas for about 15 minutes, and I couldn't handle the cartoony graphics and stuff. It just looked way too old. I felt like I was playing original Quake.
It's not that bad. Jeez.
Well, when I'm comparing Fallout 4 to Half-Life 2, Fallout 3 wasn't like Half-Life 2.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have that realism, and Half-Life 2 was released 6 or 7 years before.
Was Half-Life a really open world like Fallout, though?
No, Half-Life 2 was totally canned.
Yeah, that's why.
You're walking down an alley.
That's why.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Any open world is going to... Uh-oh, you're gone. Hello? Oh, there you are. You disappeared there for a minute.
Yeah, it just said we derped.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. It might be my connection. Who knows? But yeah, and I think that the open worlds they can't put the same kind of detail, because you have to be able to go to that mountain you see off in the distance and not just down this one.
That's a total point I didn't consider, because Half-Life 2, you can't make it out of the alley. There is no outside of the alley.
Yeah, but the graphics that are most impressive are the ones that are beyond the alley, aren't they? Because you can actually see in the distance and so forth.
Oh yeah, bokeh. You know what that is? The camera effect where it's blurry in the background, but just my god, that's beautiful. I can't believe they do that in games. I just figured out how to do that with my camera.
The rack focus, yeah.
That's awesome. I can't believe it.
There's a lot of cool tricks out there. Oh boy.
Yeah, no, it actually does add to a lot of the realism, like that field of view, all that stuff. Like before, it'd be as clear as you could see. As far as you could see that guy in the end.
Now whose phone is ringing?
Yeah. There's 2 women in this house, so it won't make it past 2 rings.
There it is.
Yeah.
Stopped. I had to answer mine because nobody else was here at the time.
Yeah.
When I saw in the caller ID that it was going to be a telemarketer, I just really had to mess with them. I can't stand telemarketing.
Oh, it's such a I'd hate to be a telemarketer, you know. People have
It's probably a very hard job.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been a great first chat about video games. We've been all over the board, which is probably going to be our style, and I don't care. I love it. I kind of like it.
It's fine with me. And, you know, there's so many things, just so the viewers know, we did have an email exchange about some ideas of what to talk about, and I think we talked about one of them. Isn't that funny? So if and when we're doing this next, I guess you'll make that public to the viewers, but we can maybe talk more about Witcher versus Skyrim and that kind of thing next time.
Well, it'd be nice if we could do this semi-regularly, and then we could ask the viewers to, put comments in our last video for our next video kind of thing, because we'll get, updates and we'll put it in our emails and stuff. And then while we are live, they could ask questions too.
I was gonna say that.
And then what's the other thing?
Send money?
Sure. Why not? Now, actually, if you got video games to talk about, if you're an avid gamer and a model railroader,
come on with us.
Yeah, let's check it. Let's combine these two things. I think that a good way to wrap up the show would be for me to talk about why I started playing video games on the channel. The last 2015 for me was all about youth in model railroading. All year I heard people talking about, no, kids aren't the future of the hobby. They can't afford it, this and that and the other thing. I look at these video gamers, they're doing these charity events. They're making $250,000 for charity. I think that anybody who thinks that the younger generation don't have money just ain't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So if I bring video games and put modeling videos on my channel, I'm going to lower the age demographic of my channel, and I would be promoting the hobby to a younger crowd.
It might work. It's so crazy. It just might work.
It's just might work.
That's what they say, right? So crazy. It just might work.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm doing, Yeah. And I'm a part of Maker. Maker's built on gaming channels and lifestyle channels. They've got Shay Tarts, they've got Pootie Pie, they have pretty much every single big YouTube channel on Maker, and they're big on gaming, So for me to relate with those guys, I got to start playing video games so that when they start saying these big words and stuff, like big new words and stuff, I know what they're talking about, Like, I don't want to start talking about something, like I didn't go talk about David Bowie this morning on the forum.
Yeah.
None of those guys know who David Bowie is.
Right. Yeah, probably not. Yeah. Probably not. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I'll say one thing before we go too about the whole, rail fans and youth and all that. And I think that rail fanning and trains and all that is not a dying hobby. I think it's only a changing hobby. And what I mean by that is that I belong to a more traditional group. It's a club here in the area where I live called the Central Coast chapter of the NRHS. They're actually called the Central Coast Railroad Club, but they're a member of the NRHS, the National Rail Historical Society. And it's, a bunch of guys pretty much older than I am. And they meet and they have their meeting and they pay their dues. And I also belong on YouTube. And there are a lot of young people who go out and provide and create railroad style or, topic videos for YouTube. The problem is the old guys think that the hobby's dying because they're not on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So
Stuck in the sand.
well, it's just a traditional way of doing things. You meet. Well, you have to meet. It's like, no, you don't have to meet. You can be on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's one guy I know that has some 40,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He's 20 something, early to mid 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that the hobby's dying as much as I think that it's changing. So I don't think people have to despair. Just go on the computer and you'll find it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's all I'm going to say.
You're totally right. Media's focusing on the wrong thing right now.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
But this is a good place to stop, I think. Thanks for chatting today.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for inviting me.
Maybe, should we do this next month or next week? I don't know.
Whatever people say. See what kind of views you get. Let me know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty flexible with my schedule. So if you just let me know when to do it, and as long as people are watching, I'm happy to be there.
So I guess it's up to you guys. If you want to see more of these, just comment. Let us know. Maybe tell us what we want to talk. What you want us to talk about.
Yeah, that too. We can talk about anything.
Okay, talk to you later, John.
Yep. Take care, Ron.
Bye-bye.